Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters. PGL Milcraft here from ProGamingLeagues.com, here to bring you game number 3 with the Red Terran player up here in the north, IMMVP, and the Blue Zerg player down here, SlayerSCella. This map is Shattered Temple. I guess the temple was lost. Those of you remember Lost Temple. The temple was lost, and then somebody dropped it and broke it, and then it became a Shattered Temple. And in the course of that, one of the Xel'Nagators broke, and then they moved it over here in the middle so that there was still a nice symmetrical effect for the centerpiece to their table. Now, we've seen Hellions be incredibly effective here for MVP, and actually we've seen really great play from MVP. He was kind of throwing a loop there for the early roaches, but I think he held it off extremely well and took very little damage from what could have been a really heavy damaging roach force from SlayerSCella, given that MVP was so ill-prepared for that sort of attack. He was helped out by the fact that he was already getting a tech lab on his barracks, which then allowed him to transition into Marauders. He was getting the tech lab because he was going to switch the factory and the barracks so that the factory could get siege tanks and the barracks could get Marines, but it ended up being effective in getting Marauders anyway, which was able to help deal with the roaches. In addition, he had very nice Hellion control, able to put the Hellions behind the supply depots on that ramp, deal a lot of damage to those roaches, and not lose that many forces, all things considered. Meanwhile, SlayerSCella, not able to deal enough damage with those roaches, able to take it out from those. And really, he didn't really recover much after that, of course, especially after, he kind of rushed the gold, which was kind of a smart decision, but on the other hand, he wasn't really able to hold it, and especially protect his drones from several attacks from actually it was Red Flame Hellions, not Blue Flame Hellions, which are able to deal a lot of damage. Of course, Red Flame Hellions actually still kill workers in 3 hits. It's not as good as the 2 hits for Blue Flame Hellions, but still quite effective in dealing with light units in general. Looks like SlayerSCella is in fact going to drone scout right here. I can only imagine him turning around right away. Actually, MVP is not getting a Marine, so SlayerSCella isn't going to have to turn around right away. He's going straight into a tech lab. I would guess this is a Reaper expand, if I had to guess. Because there's no other reason. Marauder expand doesn't really make sense against a Zerg player. And it looks like he is in fact getting a Reaper, and he is attacking the tech lab just to deal as much damage as he can. Might as well. He knows he's going to lose that drone. SCV is going to scare him away from that, though, but at least that SCV isn't mining. And we also saw a hatchery first build on the part of SlayerSCella, and on top of that, then he's getting the spawning pool and a fairly late gas, actually, but that fairly late gas is going to allow him to have more minerals to be able to get queens as soon as the spawning pool hatches, and in addition to the queens, it's going to let him drone up as well. So he is getting a queen. He will be getting a queen here as well very soon. Queen. Oh, it looks like he's gonna. Oh wow, a roach warned. That did not get spotted. Huh. So it looks like he's going for a very similar build to the previous time. I do believe this Reaper is going to be able to see it. Now, if SlayerSCella hopefully should have been able to identify that build as a Reaper expand and recognize that this is going to get scouted, so maybe he's just trying to scare IMMVP, but that is a very quick roach warren, unless he just wants to get a couple roaches for defense. But he knows that his opponent isn't going Reactor Hellions simply because of the build he saw. He did not see a reactor or a factory building. Looks like that Reaper did in fact get out. It already has 3 kills. Very nice control from IMMVP, and able to get a 4th kill right there, I believe. Go to the units lost tab. So that looks like to be 2 drones and 2 Zerglings. So that's already been basically a cost-effective Reaper, and it was also able to snipe that creep tumor. Now these queens are going to chase it off creep, but because they're slow as molasses, they're not going to be able to do anything about it. These are roaches hatching out of that, so those roaches all will be very effectively be able to deal with that roach, or with that Reaper rather. I believe Reapers have a range of 4.5. Yeah, they do have a range of 4.5, and roaches have a range of 4, so it's very difficult to engage a roach and get away before the roach is able to fire and deal a lot of damage to you. Meanwhile, looks like MVP is in fact getting siege tanks on top of his expansion. Relatively quick expansion, also built on site, I think because the Reaper gave him enough scouting information to know that he's safe from any sort of fast Zergling run by, and also because he saw the roaches, he knew that the roaches were coming. The siege tank is also going to be very effective. Siege tanks have very high damage per second against even without siege, against armored targets. They're able to deal very much a lot of damage. I believe it's 25 damage a shot, and they fire very rapidly. Looks like finally it gets enough energy to be able to build that second creep tumor to connect between his two bases, and it looks like he is in fact going to be getting blue flame hellions. This is not going to be able to be spotted, and it's going to be a somewhat delayed blue flame hellions, so SlayerSCella might not see this coming. However, he is already partially prepared for the blue flame hellions by the large amount of roaches that he is getting. He doesn't have any zerglings, and actually he hasn't even started zergling speed, which shows you how quick he went into roaches. He did lose that Overlord up top right here. Overlord just got a little too close to the ground for comfort, and so he wasn't able to do much. 4 roaches here are going to be able to move in, but if you look at these forces, these alone are enough to easily deal with these roaches, and hopefully the only thing SlayerSCella can really hope for right now. He's not actually... Oh, wow. He was only getting 1 Overlord at the time. He is still supply blocked, even though he was just supply blocked. He actually should have been building 2 Overlords, so he's going to be supply blocked for a little while longer. I wonder if the larva is... Yes, he does have 7 larvae piled up, although he also doesn't necessarily have the minerals to use that larva right now, but those larvae would love to be drones, so that supply block is going to hurt his drones just a little bit. He needs to be a little bit more careful about that. Looks like the barracks and the other factory are going to be moving up here. The other factory actually might have just... No, the other factory was in fact built right up here. It was just a barracks and a bunker. But they are going to move up. He wants to protect his production facilities, wants to make sure those are not taken out. And now he does have 6 blue flame hellions with blue flame completed. And, of course, they're blue flame hellions, they have blue flame completed. And very intelligently going around the watchtower, which is controlled by the roaches. There is absolutely zero defense right here for SlayerSCella. He is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to lose a lot of drones to these blue flame hellions. He's now spotted them, but they are all grouped up. Oh, wow, dealing a lot of damage, killing a lot of workers right now. And actually, he's going to be able to deal with the queens as well, as the queens don't have that much health to be able to deal with blue flame hellions. And they are able to run into the main. The main is very oversaturated right now. And, oh my god, the drones just ran directly into the hellions. SlayerSCella was trying to engage to limit the amount of damage to be done, but I don't think there's any way he can come back from this. Now, look at how many drones he just had. Oh my god. Oh, that is so painful to see. Oh, those blue flame hellions were like the most perfectly timed and perfectly positioned blue flame hellions that I've ever seen. He has killed so many drones. Let's go to worker. I don't even know if I want to see the workers lost. That would be so sad to see the number of workers lost for SlayerSCella. Oh my god, 39 workers lost by the 10-minute mark. If we go to the income tab, he has 14 workers. The Terran has over twice as many workers. Almost, well, not quite, almost, like 2.5 times as many workers right now. And his supply is 20 higher. That's almost all in workers, so the armies are relatively similar in size. And MVP has the necessary number of Marines. He's also getting 3 additional barracks to be able to deal with these mutalisks, which are just not going to be able to deal any damage. And SlayerSCella is probably now complaining about how many drones MVP was able to get. And ooh, yeah, look at that little face right there he's making. But he just decided, like, normally, sometimes when you are dealing with blue flame hellions, your goal is to attack with a bunch of drones, especially if you're oversaturated like he was in his main, and try to get a wrap around them so you can only, they only hit 1 drone each, or not very many drones each. But they all attacked up this wrap. He just did not micro that correctly, and ended up losing so many drones to that attack. And so now he's down to like 4 mutalisks. He has to spend all of his larvae on drones, and there's going to be a timing attack from IMMVP, and it is going to absolutely destroy him. He does have an extra worker on gas right there, but it doesn't matter. That is not going to make any difference in this game. He actually has 2 factories as a result of the blue flame hellions producing a lot of siege tanks. This is going to be a very deadly push. If you look, there is not even a baneling's nest right now for SlayerSCella. So in terms of army size, he actually only has 700 minerals, 500 gas. Almost all of those are mutalisks, and these roaches were about to die. And this is very sad, and SlayerSCella just GG's out of this game. Basically, at the end, these Marines, these 23 Marines, could have taken out that entire base on his own, not to mention the 5 siege tanks with siege mode that would have helped take it out. But the Marines, because there weren't any banelings, and there weren't very many roaches, and just mutalisks, 5 mutalisks, and I think, 4 more, so 9 mutalisks total, those Marines would have killed basically everything at the base. But they also had the siege tanks, and he was also building, 7 Marines at a time, so very easily able to destroy that match. And IMMVP proves why he's the world champion and why he's going to be very much impressive at the GSL Championship. I highly encourage you to watch that. I will totally psyched for the Codas finals on Saturday. Well, Saturday Korean time. Saturday our time as well. But it's going to be Saturday at 2 a.m. Central Time, 3 a.m. Eastern Time, as I was saying. Very exciting. I hope you watch it. And wow, MVP is impressive. He is one of my favorite Terran players, and today he proved why. This is PGO Milncraft signing off.